Trader, welcome to the midday check-in where we are analyzing the stocks and not just any old analyzation. We are analyzation, is that a word? Well, I'm gonna make it a word. We're not just analyzing the charts, but we are being good stewards of protecting our capital and giving ourselves an honest assessment of what is going on, right? We can only control so much, right? And we already know we can't control nothing that's going on in this market, but what we can do is make the best decisions for our portfolio. One of the top things is protecting our capital. Yes, we want to make profit, we want to make money and things like that, but no, we want to protect it first. Then from there, we want to look for some A plus setups that allow us to be able to continue to grow and be whatever our goals are in this. And so I am Denisha on a mission. This is not trading advice at all. I just like coming on here. I do this for myself, and I wanted to open this up to help you really learn how to read the charts because I get it. We see our favorite people online or people online that we're learning about, and they are moving and grooving and it looks like they making money in the stock market, and you see how did they have, a five figure, six figure, to whatever day, and we don't understand all the things behind it because they're only showing us so much. Now, some may be moving and grooving, but sometimes they don't even be sharing all the times their losses. And if you are following plays, if I'm following plays from other people, one is to play. So you got to recognize, what are you doing? Is this a short term, long term? What is this? And even, do you have the capital and the capacity to sustain it, right? And what I mean by that is, if you enter based off of a signal, and you enter and your expiration date is today, your expiration on it is next week, a week out, a month out, but they got a whole year on it and you missed that information. Now you're wondering, why are you down and why did you lose money and they still got money? So I say all that to say there's a lot of different details and information. But when you learn how to read the charts, it's going to help you. And this is a daily thing because we're in a market that's evolving and changing. However, emotions that drive it, there's some similar behavior patterns that we can continue to learn to help give us insight on that day and what's going on. So right now we are on IWM. I am in my simulated account, my paper money account, and we're going to use the framework from Trayvon, which is trade. That's just remember that trade. Okay, you want to trade. And so this is what we're going to do. The first thing with trade is looking at the T in trades, and that is, what is the trend now and overall? Okay, what is the trend? So if we look at IWM right now, we see that the overall trend is going up, right? We see that. But we see that currently in this last 15-minute candle, there has been a pullback. But right now I have the 9 EMA up, and basically it has wicked off of the 9 EMA and it's sitting here. Now, this also is in line with a level from earlier today where it pulled back and then it ended up selling off some more. It pulled back below VWAP. VWAP is this yellow dash line right here. This is like a magnet, okay? And so, not saying that it is a magnet, right? Because all of these indicators are just helping you indicate where price is going, right? It's not saying price is going to go here, but because there's certain, similar behaviors, oftentimes price wants to go back to the mean, it wants to go back to VWAP, right? If you take VWAP off, you will see this area here, which also lines up with VWAP. And I'm pretty sure if we go back to the left further, we'll see that this area right here has been a level of support that also became resistance at one point in time. But right now we are over the VWAP, we are over the 9 EMA. And so now I am going to actually go to the daily so you can see this. So we're asking ourselves in the trade framework, because we are on a mission to trade. Okay. And we love it. We enjoy it. We know that it works. We've seen it. We cannot unsee the opportunities here. However, if we are not being due diligent on learning how price moves, watching it, not saying, well, I hope, I think it's gonna go down. Yeah, eventually it's gonna go down. Eventually it's gonna go up. You're gonna be right about that. But are you gonna be positioned to be able to capitalize? And you have to answer that for yourself. So we're going to dive in. So the first one is T. What is the overall trend? So you saw it from a micro look, right? We saw that it was overall the daily trend now is going up. We saw earlier today where it was going down. Right now we are over VWAP. Okay. If we look at the overall trend of the market for IWM is we're still in this channel, right? You see how it came down here to support, bounced off. You can see this right here was a big chop zone. But anyway, hold on. We'll talk about that another time. Um, we see now this is the candle for today. This candle right now, you're seeing the hammer. So it's showing strength. However, it is 1:11 p.m. This could change. We also have this thin structure here. So if buyers decide that they don't want to keep trying to push this up and the sellers actually come in, then we got this thin wick structure here that can come all the way back down to 243.72. So if you are holding this and you don't want to risk more of your capital, that's something to think about if it breaks here. But again, if we go to the 15-minute, we can see it's still above VWAP. So we can make our judgment off of, okay, if it breaks below VWAP and it shows me that it's going to continue to come down, then that might be an exit point. Again, this is not trading advice. I'm just helping you learn how to read the market clear. Okay, so we see the overall trend is up. We do see that we're at the lower end of the channel of this upward channel here. But what we do see, if we look back and like August 1st, if we look here at October 10th, we can see that when it came down here, this actually it hit a support level that then it made the trend go up to the upside. So this could be an opportunity. However, we also see that the next day we were able to confirm that with some type of retest. This candle retested this middle area of the lower channel of this overall channel. And I have more information on this because my thing is just to continue to develop in it. And as I continue to do something, help others see this. I teach for another person as well. And then coming in here is just exciting to me because if you really want to learn this, we're going to put in the time, but we're going to be good stewards over it too. Meaning, we got to get off the charts and build what God wants us to build. Whatever that idea, that business, whatever that is, we have to get off the charts and do this. So we're being able to read this. We're going to be able to place some buy orders in, some our OCO orders. We're going to be able to place some orders and walk away from this chart, and it'll kick us out if it hit our level, whether it's profit or getting us out so we can preserve the capital that we have in it. Because again, whole nother conversation. Okay, so now that we see this, it needs to hold about right here, depending on what your strategies are and what your goal is for this. But it literally could start coming back down. Right now, we're bearish. So until it continues to prove itself, we will see. Okay, so and it's already started to prove itself by now being above VWAP, but we're also at 1:14 p.m. now. The lunchtime is over. We're in again that midday, the new start of that. So we're gonna see which one takes over now. We can see that the volume right here, this was from 1028. We're here now. So we're going to see because the volume is showing down. RSI is showing down, but we're in the middle. So let's go down. Let's go down to the 30-minute. Let's hang on the 30-minute for a little while. Okay. So in this framework trades, we wanted to look at the trend. So we just went over the trend. If we stick with the 30-minute for now for this video, we are seeing that the non-EMA is still being held, and we're at this 244.85, which is also a point of control. If we mark this area, we can see that at one point this was support, at another point this was resistance. So this area is going to be important in the decision making. The next thing when we look at the trend, we want to look at, is it a trend or a trap? Because if we come back over to Friday's trading session and price actually pushed above the high of the day, it did not reach the 200 EMA, but rejected right before it came down. Now that was a trap. So if I decided, oh, I'm gonna, the last 10 minutes, I'm gonna do a quick scalp, I better be in and out. But I also would be seeing that, okay, this 200 EMA is here. So if I decide to enter at the break of this, I already know that the reward to risk, this is 246.50, and that's 97. Wait, yeah, 246.50, 246.97 is less than 50 cents. Now, if I had a bunch of contracts and I wanted, you do what makes sense for you. I won't go into those details, but we want to be mindful of what we're seeing. And now we're seeing that, if sellers start stepping back in, we're at 244.74. So does it lose this area? And this candle is a heavier looking candle right now. We're looking for wicks. We're looking to see if buyers decide to push this back up to keep it above VWAP. If it falls below VWAP, we have to be prepared on how much money that we're risking, right? The funds that we're capital. Because if it falls below VWAP and it holds right in this, then look, you can come back all the way down to 242.67. Now, if we go back to the daily, we can see that that is an opportunity for a retest for then it to go to the upside. So that might be an entry that you want to look for if you are looking to go long on a longer position for the channel. So let's go back to the channel. That might be another opportunity. But also, if we're holding, then you know that you're going to be in drawdown depending on your contract. So we see really quick, we see here, there was a retest. We see here, there's a retest to show that it's holding. And so I'm going to come back. Let's go back to the 30. Okay, so is it a trend or a trap? That's the first in the T. Is it now, the next one is R in trend, okay? What is the role of the VWAP? So I've talked about the VWAP already, but I want to just re-emphasize that the VWAP can be like this middle place, right? Where price likes to come back to. Now, if price decides to come here and to the VWAP and wick off of it to show that the buyers are pushing it up, that it uses it as a springboard to bounce off the VWAP, then this area right here, for me, it could be an indication if I'm looking for a new position to get in. But I would also be looking at the next candle. I would take it down to my 5 minute, my 1 minute to see what's going on in that area. But I like the 30 minute because it's giving you a better perspective, an overall better perspective. Sometimes when I use the 1 and the 5 minute, and you let me know in the comments if you experience this as well. And I'm pretty sure you do, but we can get caught in the weeds of things and not see the overall bigger picture for the day, right? Or for in general. And so I might get out of a position, but it just was a small pullback. So we got to keep that in mind. So the role of the VWAP, because the VWAP is a magnet, or we ask ourselves, is the VWAP a wall? If price pushes back below here, we come back for a retest, which I could use my drawing tool. I'll set that up next time. Come back up here for this retest, and we see a wick off of and a push down from VWAP. But now VWAP is no longer a springboard, right? An opportunity for it's now a wall. It is now resistance. And so we also got to look at, like, I wouldn't want to take a trade here I'm gonna be thinking about it. I want to trade edges. People are always looking for edges. What's my edge in trading? What's my edge in trading? What's their edge in trading? And just being on the charts every day for the last year and a half, I'm trying to trade the edges. Right now, we are in the middle. We're in this middle place, and it's actually the lower middle, but we're inside the orb. The orb is, we can talk about that in another video, but it's basically the high and the low of the first candle. So we're right in the middle of that. So we will be looking at what that means as well on our trades, but think of VWAP as neutral. Think of it as a magnet. Think of it as a way to fade the edges. Like if I did want to test here, and I'm thinking about like the middle of this area, which is here, this may be an edge for me to trade here. Again, it's your strategy, what, your goals are, how much time you got in contracts if you're doing options. If you're buying shares, is this a long-term account? Is this your scalping account? Is this your swing trade account? Like you just got to be thinking like what are you doing? And you got to pause and ask yourself these particular questions. So, T, trend or trap. We got R for the role of VWAP, right? I'm using that in this. Or the role of the main indicators you're using. Is it supporting that? Right. So right now I do see you see the MACD on here right now. And you see that it is showing that the volume of the sellers is slowing down. However, we're still under we're still under the MACD. So this is bearish. But we also have this area here, which also coincides with the VWAP, that if it decides to cross and come up, then that could be still an indication as one confluence that we're going to the upside. The volume is showing a potential that it could be, but we'll see. All right. We also have the RSI, which is showing us in the middle of where it was earlier today, but it's showing it's curving down. You see this curve here, which is a bearish signal. But again, we're on the 30-minute. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens, but being mindful, okay, what is my exit? If it comes to VWAP and it pushes down further and I see XYZ, I'm going to get out. If it's a springboard that allows me to stay in the trade, and just deciding what's the best for you. So VWAP, remember, is going to help you see direction. Now, the next one is A, right? The anatomy of price. Okay, so price, you can take all of these indicators off of here and just look at price. What is price doing? What do you see? Like, what's going on? We see here, we are at, again, this is lined up with the VWAP, this area right here, but literally just watching price. And we can clearly see it's on the downtrend right now. We're on the 30-minute. Price is down 1.69, right? We see that. So in thinking about that, we want to just be mindful of the trades and what we're saying. Like, how do we actually get in this trade with a cleaner setup, right? What is the structure? Are we seeing higher highs? Are we seeing lower highs? Like, what are we seeing? Is there exhaustion, right? Are we in a manipulation phase? Are we in a distribution phase, right? Is it indecision? Because this area is more like of a neutral zone. We're now coming here. Are we going to just test VWAP? Right? Again, is it going to be a springboard? Is it going to be, this wall, or is it going to be, what is it going to be? Right? It's going to be resistance. It's going to be support. It's going to be whatever. Okay. So be thinking about what is price doing and what are we seeing? If we go back let's just go to the 1 hour. We see, if we just come to what, 2 Sundays ago, we see that price it's popped up here. It did push up here, which could have signaled that maybe there was, it's going to go back up, but it didn't. It came down, bounced up, and, did both. It's been on a downtrend. So if I take okay, I'm going into drawing tools. I'm using Thinkorswim. and I come and I just say, let me just mark these areas, okay? I'll come back and change these. But just for the sake of these, let's see. What is that? No, I'm not gonna do that one. I'm just gonna stick here. On another video, I'll use the fibs, but right now, and then if I come here, so price really needs to come back above 246.29 and test it, and then definitely come above this 200 EMA, which is at 247. Let me zoom in for you so you can see it. Right here, 246.99. So let's just say 247. It needs to show that it could get back above here. Otherwise, we clearly see we're on this downtrend, which also may be an indication to just go ahead and get out. Because, yeah. Now, if I won't add that in this video. Okay, so the next thing we want to look at is volume drying up. So I'm going to go back to my 30 minute. That's where we're going to hang. Is 126. Yeah, we see. What are we seeing? Okay, come here. So again, we're testing VWAP. We see that we have this wick here. We see that, but the candle is heavy right now. So we'll see what happens. We do see how two prior 30-minute sessions that came, price did come below VWAP and then it pushed back up. So we will see. But if we look at this, then we can say, okay, this is where we're at. We looked at the trend. Is it a trend or a trap? We then looked at the role of the VWAP or our favorite indicators, whatever we're looking. Is that role, is it in line with our thesis, with our trades, with our entries? Is it in line with our A plus setups? Okay. Now we're looking at, the anatomy of price. Where are our higher highs? Where are our higher lows? What's going on in the intraday trend right now? Because right now it's now past lunch, right? What's going on? What's going on with the overall trend? If I'm wanting to hold these longer, these entries longer, swing trade them over the course of several days or however long, right? So thinking about these things, anatomy of the price, are we seeing it slope? Are we seeing it rise? Are we seeing the wicks go further down? Like for instance, if we looked at this, the wicks are higher. However, if if we just didn't have any indicators on here and we did this, if this candle started to push under here, one, we would know that this would be an indication on if we wanted to get out, if we wanted to stop out, depending on our what was going on. So if we were in options and we were doing 0-day DTEs and yeah, and we had got in and now price is going in the opposite direction. We want to see if it's going to hold VWAP. Also, this is 30 minutes. That's a long time to be holding a scalp. It still is possible, but scalps we want to hold for seconds, minutes. Like we don't want to be in these and ask me how. No, I've been in them for long. The longer you're in it, the longer it's just burning your premium, like just burning it, taking it. The sellers on the other end, like, yes, I'm like, it's collecting your money. The stock market cares nothing about you. Nothing. 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 So we got to care about ourselves, our funds. We got to not hold on to things, just let it go. I had to let a trade go this morning and it wasn't following in line. But really it shook, but it hit my stop level. And that's that. That's that. But I will go evaluate it again because it was in a drawdown that I didn't like. And I got out. So that's a win. However, within like 2 hours, it started going back in the direction. So I would at least broke even on it. But again, I'd rather have the habit of trimming when I say that I'm going to trim based off of informed information, I'd rather get out and develop that skill set than to hold, hoping. No, no, we do not. The moment I feel myself hoping that the market is going to go based off the entry that I placed, I automatically know I'm not trading. Hope is not something that we bring into the market. Yeah, we want to build generational wealth, and the market knows it. And the market knows that you want to build generational wealth. The market knows about your greed or that you hoard things. I mean, all the statistics and all the things, it knows everything about human behavior. And so we have to be mindful of that every day and be good stewards to say, you know what, let me just cut it or keep it based off of being an informed decision. So again, we're following the trade formula. And somebody's like, you probably could have came up. No, I want you to remember the trade formula. Is it, or are we in is it a trend or a trap, right? What could be the traps? And stop trading when we're entering is always if this or that, because we don't know. The news could come out right now and it completely change the setup, but oftentimes it'll come back to it days later, the next day, another day, right? So we just have to be mindful of these things. And so right now, we can see that price now is under the 9 EMA. So now we're going to have this battle between the 9 EMA and VWAP. Now, again, indicators are just there, they're guides, but it's helping us see where this support and resistance, where this battle is. And so we also see on the MACD, it's a potential that it could squeeze to the upside, but we'll see. So we got trade. Is it a trend or trap? What's the role of VWAP, particularly here? But you fill it in with whatever main indicators that you're using, your anatomy of price. What is price doing? Is it higher highs? Is it higher lows? Is it in consolidation? What are we seeing in the overall trend and also this micro trend, right, that's going on? And then D in trade is the volume. Is the volume drying up? Is the volume drying up? And we see that we are on a decline with the volume, because you can see here where there was a lot of volume coming in. We do see this that can potentially squeeze here. And we're gonna see if volume picks back up and what happens. We do see that we have this curl here. We do see here that volume is on a decline. If we look at this. Now I'm trying to see if you can see it better. Okay, well, I don't want to change that setting yet because I'm going to be using this after this class, but we can see here that volume has just been decreasing. So when we think about if I wanted to scalp this area, if it did break below and come here, I would have to see volume pick up, because otherwise it's just riding this VWAP area, this middle place, this neutral place. It's just going to be here. And we'll have to see when that shift changes. All right, so then we got E for edge and expectancies. Okay, so one thing about the market is I'm not gonna have hope. I just told you that we're not gonna have hope. We're not gonna expect the market to do something. But again, there's patterns. If we look at Fridays, it found the support level and it did a V-shaped recovery. That's a pattern. All right, okay. So we see it here. It came down, found support, came here. Will it do? Will it do like and it didn't do a full, V-shaped recovery like it did here, and even here it came up V. But maybe it does, right? It chops along here and then it comes up. Or maybe it curves and it forms an H formation to come back to the support of the day. Once it breaks VWAP, that's going to help you indicate a lot. So if you don't want to be in this trade under VWAP and you don't want to, so if you come here to here, that's at least another $100, depending on what kind of options contract you have. So you got to ask yourself, do I want to risk that? Do I want to just keep my money? I'll just keep it. And then look for a better entry versus coming down here and then your premium is being burst. We talk about that another time. Again, to reiterate, I'm giving you all these details to help you learn how to navigate. Now, there's some people, they only trade a couple things and they don't need all these details. I find these details helpful to me, and I like to be able to help others learn how to see the market and think things through. And for somebody who might say that's overthinking, to me, it's it's me. I want to know, right? Now you decide what what is best for you and what information is key to your trading, right? But I like to know these things. And to me, this is not a lot. This is not a lot at all. What's the trend doing? Is it a trend or a trap? Okay. What's the role of the instruments, the indicators, the things that you're using? Is it work? Are those things working? Is it going in the direction right now? Is it not? Based off of the role of the indicator or whatever strategy that you're using, is it going in the direction of the trade? Okay. Then we have the what's the next one? The anatomy of price. If we took all these indicators off, what is price doing? Right? Price right now is in the middle. So it's gonna decide at some point what it wants to do. Or it can stay here for the rest of the day. And so then we have to decide what our best things are to do. And maybe it's just to put our stop here and then get out. Let it stop us out versus risking more capital. Because our number one thing right now is protecting our capital. We want to protect our capital. If we're in a trade, we don't want to be scared and fearful. We want to have room for the trade and all that stuff too. But especially if you're working with a small account, if you can lose 10, 20, $25 versus that $100, if you're working with $1,000 account, small account, and some people will say a small account is $25,000, your whatever you're doing. Okay, I'm giving you some words of wisdom. Figure out what that is, that 1%, 2%, 3%, whatever. You figure out what that is. All right, so the next one we talked about is the volume drying up. We talked about the edge and expectancy. So do I still have my reward to risk? Is that still intact? So that's one way that you can look about when it comes from expectation. So my expectation is not my emotions and what I feel like is going to happen. Yeah, ideally, if it stays above here, ideally at some point is going to retrace back to the top, but it doesn't mean that it has to do it right now. And so to look at expectancy, I'm looking at, is my reward to risk still intact, right? I'm looking at, if it's not, do I go ahead and trim it here? If I only got one contract, then is this a place where I take profit, or is this a place I stay in, but I tighten, or I increase my stop, right? I expand my stop where it's a little wider just because I'm giving it room because I have the time in the contract, or because I am XYZ with my shares. Again, just helping you learn how to think these through. Okay, so we looked at the edge, the expectancy, right? And then we're going to look at our S, which is our stops. So when we're looking at the framework trades, we have our stop. So when we're looking at these in our stops, we review the T, we review the R, the A, the D, the E, right? And we look at our stops, the speed in which things are going right now, and our sanity. Those is what S represent. Okay. Remember, God wants us off the charts. This is a resource. God wants us off the charts to build what it is that God has placed in your hands, in your mind, in your ideas. You have a solution for somebody else. And it's important that you are off these charts to build, to create, to team up, to do those things. And so it's easy to get on these charts like I am right now. I be looking at every candle and analyzing. But while we're doing this, we don't want this to become a distraction. So again, there's things to do. We can place our orders. We can spend, our time being able to learn how to read the chart so that when we make those decisions, we are making an informed decision. And sometimes it's just not going to be a right decision, even though we went through our checklist. We keep our losses small. And so if we are looking at it and we say, okay, are we, what's the drawdown? Yeah, it can go down and it can hit support, but then that's going to take me from a 10% drawdown to a 20% drawdown. That's not cool based on your account size, based on your goals and your rules, your trading plan, right? You might have a 20% stop just for this one because you whatever you decided. But we have to be mindful not to risk those things. And so right now we see that price is under the 9 EMA. It has not reclaimed. It did push up above, but now it's pushed below. If I added the 21 EMA back on here, I look at the 21 and the 9 like a duo. We see that at twice during lunchtime, it came and tried to test and did not break above the 221 EMA. Oftentimes we have the 9 quick, fast, it's momentum, but then the 21 often is a retest area to see if it's still on that momentum. And right now it rejected that area, didn't even wick off of it, but came down. Price pushed back up, but it hasn't reclaimed this 9 EMA. It's still in this battle. Now, I'm going to now take the 21 back off. And I just went to edit studies and then just hit it. So we're going to be looking at, where again, we see that there's 2 failed attempts right now on this third one. We see that I can go back and depending on if you're doing options or shares, if it's options, I can go back and check, the Greeks. I won't get into that right now, but I want you just to start thinking these through. I could go back and check the IV. We can, also I usually have news up or CNBC so I can see, what are some updates. We are at 1:42 p.m. on November 3rd, 2025. So we know that it's an interesting time because there was one rate cut. However, we are it's it was said in the press conference that basically we're not sure if we're going to get a December rate cut or not. So this is a small cap stock, the Russell 2000. And so we want to be the EFT, not stock. It's an EFT. And so we want to be mindful of these things and what also is going on. And we also see, let me see. No, I won't say that chat. But we do see right now we're at 244.81 and they're keeping us here. We've been in this range, this area, six candles. And yeah, so 3 hours? Yeah. Yeah. So be mindful of that. And so again, the formula, if you want to trade and you want to continue to get better on this, the formula is trades. Okay? It's a trend or trap. What are you the R is the role of your plan, your indicator that you're using, your process is the direction supporting the role of what you're in, right? Okay, we got so that's T, we got the R, we got the A, the anatomy of price. What is price doing right now? We see that it is in the middle, it's consolidating, but it is lower, right? We see that. If we go down to the 1 minute, this right here formed a double top that came down some, but then price recovered, formed a higher low, well, a higher high compared to here, a higher high. Then it sold back off, hitting back this VWAP area, but price didn't come above this area right here. So we see if we zoom into the 1 minute, we have a lower high. And if it comes down here, we'll cross it. If we go to the 5 minute, we're seeing the same thing. Now we also see this here, which could be a head and shoulder forming, especially once it breaks here. If it breaks here, then it could come, we'll see, because this is the or bottom. Once it hits here, it could flush. We'll see. We will see. I'm gonna go back to the 30 minute. And my co-host, as you can hear, is waking up from her nap. So, in closing, trades keeps me and you accountable because we want to place trades, but we want to use the trades framework to help walk us through. Is it a trend or trap? What's the role of, in this case, VWAP? Because that is an indication for me in this one to remain in the trade or to get out so I can protect my capital. What's the anatomy of price? Is volume drying up? What are the edges? Am I trading the edges? What is my current edge? What is my expectancy? And how I ask myself that is the reward to risk still intact? What does this trade actually mean for like the entries and what price is showing me right now, right? And I want to actually also zoom out. So we went down to the 5 minute, the 1 minute. If we go to the 4 hour chart, we see that price actually did start to, so price opened and started coming down. What did we say when we first opened? If price comes here and pushes down, it has the potential of coming back down to 244.41. And VWAP right now, again, on this 4 hour chart is what's holding it. But we have this area here that is going to be a strong resistance area unless buyers come in and step in strong, which eventually they will at some point. But do we want to continue to risk the rest of that? That's another $2, depending on, what our account, the capacity of our account, and then also our time. And so midday right now isn't about taking like the most trades. We're out of midday a little bit now. We're in the second half of the session, but it's about taking the time to learn how to read the charts. And so again, I am Denisha on a mission to help just bring clarity and words of wisdom as we're trading, and then also to help you learn how to build the system to build the ideas that God has for you in the marketplace. So we're trading in the markets, but we're building our legacy also in the marketplace. So again, go back, read the charts. Let me know what you're seeing. If you look at just this right here, we're seeing over the last 6 days, it's just been in a low a declining trend, okay, in the interim, in this small time frame, which has been what, now a week, this week time frame. And so if price does not hold this VWAP, we are coming down. But see, we won't even know that we have 4 hours. It depends on how it closes today. And then depending on how it closes today will be an indication on what can happen tomorrow. But again, what we know is, because we have here, yep. And then if it price breaks here, then we have here 240.66. Let me see. 240.66 is here. Okay, 240.66 is here. So price comes here, breaks 240.66. It could now come at 237.15, which could be a support area, but this right here showed a 2 and it bounced and then it came down. So we're gonna see, does price hold here at 244.62 and buyers step back in and it reclaims, let's see, at some point over the next trading days, price can get back above 246.39. This could start to be this starts to be a better indication that price wants to flip bullish. And so we'll see from this downtrend that we're experiencing right now. So have the best amazing day. I am again Denisha on a mission. Yeah, I am. It frustrates me when I'm taking trades and entering off of signals, which some of them work great. Yeah, some of them didn't, but if I just took the time to read it better and not just accept like, oh, this person is gonna go, if I and even still these not taking anything away from these people they have great it seemed like great intentions. I have no idea. It seems like, but they've had success and I've received success from trading from them. But when it's not, and it is not fun. So at least if you know how to go back and read those charts, when you see different entries and different signals, or you yourself want to take a trade or you want to invest in something, you can come back and be like, oh, okay, let me follow Trayvon's trades format, right? And just go down the format. I will add it below here. And this is going to help you so much. You already want to trade, so you might as well be following the trades framework. All right, I'll talk to you later. All right, bye. Well, maybe I gotta keep talking because I'm joking. No, I'm just okay. I'm looking at here, also trying to close out. But anyway, have the best day. I'll talk to you later. And thanks again for joining. Like, subscribe, and I'll be back the next day to go over again how price is moving. All right, bye.